presidential candidate, he's really been the subject of so much paninira. Because I've never ever seen him laugh about or make light of gender issues. In fact, in the Senate a few times I've said that this Senate is not gender friendly when I rant, no? And it's like, hindi naman, ayusin natin yan. It's very fatherly, no? So I have to really defend him on that one. I can only speak for him, no? I don't think naman anyone else in the NP would laugh at any matter. I'd like to think naman they all take it seriously, but I think people have their different views about it.
So how about this? What can you say about these women opening the campaigns?
First of all, they don't open the campaign with it. It's open.
The program.
The NP program kasi now is like, no, it's, well, from what I know, no, although I have to say that I'm not often in the NP rally because I am an incumbent senator. I've made commitments over the past months that I have to. So I wasn't in Nueva Ecija, I wasn't in Quezon, I think there was a Batangas, I wasn't there either. So the ones I've been to, hindi naman sila opening number. Closing. Having said that, kasi wala lang. Having said that, I've expressed my concern kasi this is the position I take, no? I'm currently the president of the Women Parliamentarians internationally, all over the world. No? It's called the IPU, the Interparliamentary Union. It's an organization set up in 1889. It's the oldest, largest organization of parliamentarians, members of Congress from all over the world. I'm currently the president, and one of our strong positions is, of course, women empowerment, more women in politics, more women in decision-making skills. So what I always say, no matter what role a woman is engaged in, ideally they must, especially if it's a woman with a lot of attention on her, no, media attention. I would really like the woman to be portrayed, showing the whole, the whole depth of what a woman can offer. So anytime a woman is limited in her projection, then I have certain concerns on that. Kasi gusto ko talaga see the woman for all she has to offer. And let me just say that I will let me explain this by way of example. I was the guest in the Muchan ng Davao. Muchan ng Davao, and I've posted this in my Twitter. Muchan ng Davao, I think, should be replicated all over the country. It is a women's, what do you call it, beauty pageant, no? And they do feature beautiful women, but they don't have a swimsuit segment. No swimsuit. The women are in elegant gowns, and then they are judged by their intelligence, their community service, and their presentation. So, and I found out because Davao was the first to pass a women's code, they implement this throughout the barrio. So even these pageants in the barrios, bawal ang swimsuit. Now, isn't that wonderful? Am I saying that it's a crime? Is it a sin to be sexy? Of course not. I mean, I want to be sexy. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want to be looked at as a complete woman. I want people to see, wow, look at Senator Pia Cayetano. She looks great. She takes care of her body. She's a fast runner. She's smart. And yes, she has nice legs. Okay lang yan. I mean, if that's what it is, diba? But it has to be put in the proper perspective. Don't talk about my legs when I'm talking about my work or when I'm in session, which is something that happened to me in session, which is a gender issue. And the reason I mention it is because I want women to know that if this can happen to somebody like me, it can happen to any woman. If you're with your barkada and you want to talk about your love life or whatever, does your outfit look good, that's fine. But if you're at work, no one should talk to you about your body or whatever. That is not a topic that is appropriate for work. So that's what it is.
Hi, good afternoon, Senator Cayetano. I'm Lester. Just as a follow-up to the question earlier on reproductive health. You also mentioned that there are some instances where the funds are impounded by the president.
Yes, that was one. That's why I wanted to get my file. But go ahead, I'll just get my file.
I remember about a couple of years ago, someone left a fetus in Malacanang.
Huh?
And that was a couple of years ago. And it brought to our attention the fact that the Secretary of Health was not using the already allocated budget for education on alternative contraception and all those other hot issues. As a senator, or as people who are who want to promote that kind of education for women, what could we have possibly done when the President and the Secretary of Health are both anti-artificial or alternative methods of contraception? It was big news then, but of course,
It dies.
usually it dies down after a couple
Yeah.
of weeks. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'd really like to depoliticize this issue. That's why nga for me, it's not about who's for RH, who's not, no? Because one of my good friends, no, his daughter said to him, why is Tita Pia for RH? And I said, I don't like that. I don't like that for RH or for not. Why? Because there's been such horrible propaganda on that RH is for killing babies. I would never kill a baby. In fact, abortion is not allowed in this country. I am not for abortion. In fact, I am pro-life. But having said pro-life, does it mean I don't believe in educating my children about sex? No, I believe in educating my children about sex. Do I think a couple should not use artificial contraception? No, I think they should if they want to. If they don't believe that they should for personal reasons, for religious reasons, then that is their choice. But they should have that opportunity to make an informed decision. So, sorry that we cannot just say yes or no, because I just think that this issue is so politicized. It's sad, no? Your question is, okay, so what do? Me, I would take time. In fact, when I was hearing this bill, I took time to tell all the resource persons, hindi tayo mag-aaway dito, and you are not allowed to criticize the other person's views. Just say yours. And stick to yours. Let me be the one to decide if I want to believe the other person or not. So I actually had a couple of hearings which I felt were quite informative and less emotional than they normally are. And I would be happy to go through that because, like I said, no, I do believe that there are common provisions that anyone, regardless of beliefs, can agree on. I'm sure we can agree that 11 women should not die from childbirth, right? I'm sure we can agree on that. I'm sure we can agree that children should not be molested by adolescent boys or drug-crazed men who take advantage of young girls, right? So I'm sure we can agree on something, and let's just not call it the RH bill. Let's call it something else so that we can agree on those provisions that are agreeable, and then leave the ones that are contentious, go little by little. But we cannot ignore this. I tell people, you don't want to talk to your child about sex education. Well, therefore, your child will learn about sex through billboards, through the internet, through magazines, through exploitative media outlets. Good luck. No, so I talk to my children about sex because I'd rather they hear it from me than from anyone else. And maybe what we should have is parent sexual education. Because even in the United States, which is very modern, in some states, parents must sign a waiver to allow their child to have sex education. So I do agree with the very conservative churches now. They're scared that their children will all of a sudden be exposed to people who don't know how to teach, no? I can see naman their concern, but we cannot just deny the issue that there's now miseducation and total unawareness about things.
I mean, one sad example would be Councilor Rico of Quezon City. He was pushing for sex education in the public schools, and he was really, I would say,
He was
really
really-
in the churches themselves, like during homily, his name would be mentioned and all that.
Kawawa naman, no?
I
But
know.
I mean, I've said, I'd be happy because I'd like to think I'm friends with some church officials, and I always try to be non-contentious, and sana we can sit down and agree, because I really think we can naman if we just don't label people and and not open our minds to certain issues. I just want to point out, because you did mention the budget. Yeah, in 2008, these are the funds that were impounded, no? Meaning to say they were approved by Congress but not released by the President. 1.8 billion in family health, which includes 1.8 billion. And then 400 million for TB.